in D.C., came from a rich D.C. family, lives in Georgetown. His father's president of RCA in Washington, D.C., and this guy had been to pretty decent schools, the best schools. It so happened that, I don't know whether it was his luck or his bad luck, but he ended up humping a radio with me. Humping a radio, you know, carrying a radio on your back with me. Okay. Now, I told him that America was corrupt, the system was bad, and that all whites hated any kind of colored people. And he told me, you're a racist, you're sick, man. I told him, you watch your own people for 1 month, then you tell me whether they are racist or not. About a month and a half later, he came to me and told me, he said, Lorenz, he said, I'm a man without a country. So I said to him, I said, why? I said, what, are you kidding me? I said, you pulling a fast one on me again? He said, no, man, I'm a man without a country. So I said, why? He says, I'll tell you later. Later on, he came over to me and he ran it down to me. He says, you were right. He says, I watched them, and most of these people, they don't care for anyone that's not white. They think that everybody that's not white's stupid. And I told him, I told you that in the beginning. He told me, see, he says, I'm a man without a country. He says, I don't know where to go or what to do.
I live here. This is my community.
Of course you live here, but don't you respect the right of black people
Why do you
to
think
organize
I'm
their
here?
own march?
Right.
Don't you?
Why do you think I'm here?
All right, so why can't you march in the Central Parkwest? I'm not going to make an issue out of it.
Behind the group, but I want to go with you.
This year you're helping their cause?
I'm here to march in opposition to the war in Vietnam. That's why I'm here. I will be glad to get behind the group, but I want to go with them. I'm a part of this community, and I feel a part of it.
The Black United Action Front has a very uncompromising attitude and policy vis-a-vis the war in Vietnam. The Black United Action Front does not call for negotiation. The Black United Action Front calls for the complete victory of the National Liberation Front of South Vietnam. And the Black United Action Front says that all American troops should get out of Vietnam, and we wish the National Liberation Front to completely defeat all of the opposing forces that are trying to subjugate their country.
Are you opposed to the war in Vietnam?
Yeah, what do you mean? You can't. I got 3 sons. I don't want them to go.
Are they of draft age?
Yeah, draft day.
So how do you expect to keep them out? How do you plan to prevent them?
I don't know. All of them is in the Marine today. All of them.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, all of my family and all. Like
I see.
9 girls and 3 boys. I tell them all of them, then walk the rest of them.
None of us want war in Vietnam, really. But we don't, I don't think I'd like to walk down there and demonstrate. I think about it and pray that we don't have it. We don't have to go, and our boys don't have to go. That's it.
This isn't the first demonstration. There have been many demonstrations for several years, ever since the Vietnam War. And it doesn't seem to change the government's views at all. So I'm beginning to wonder whether the people really rule the government as it's supposed to be.
Did you ever think they did?
Well, when I was small,
When you were small,
that's what I was taught.
My son was there for 13 months and was hurt 3 times. And I think he have every right to fight as if that's right. When was he there? He just came home in December. He was there for 13 months. And I'm proud of him that he was there. And I think the United States have every right to be there. So I don't see what's all this,
Well, you think that we should be there?
I think they should. I think they should have did what my father said many years ago when I was a young girl in the Second World War. He said, why didn't you go right on through to Manchuria? I think Truman was wrong by not letting MacArthur go right on through to Manchuria. If he had did what he wanted to, we wouldn't have this now. This is how I feel.
There's no Ku Klux Klans over there, but they're here.
What do you think of some people saying that black men have to prove themselves in battle?
Prove themselves in battle?
Right.
If they haven't battled enough, well, too bad. From Hannibal right on down the line.
And you feel like
From
still
Henry
haven't...
Christopher.
And why haven't they gotten their rights then?
Rights? Well, you need big guns to get your rights. That's the only way you get your rights, with big guns.
That's the way you feel
And
about
Mr.
it?
Charlie have them all. And if he all the big guns that he doesn't have, and I hope Mr. Charlie had me, cause your dear virtuous woman have this thing pointed at my mouth. The symbol of America.
Right. That's what you think.
All that America stands for have this thing pointed at my mouth.
Okay. You said you're just a country boy.
American glamour have this in my mouth. Turn it off and turn it on at will. It makes no deal with me because I ain't nobody. I'm so simple until I love everybody. But you don't. But you want to see what's going on. So I'm letting you know what's going on.
Right. Are you going to march in this march?
I'm going to march right in this march. Even until death.
And you think that it's going to end the war? You think it's going to make...
Well, of course not. It's not going to end the war, but it just only expressed my sentiment.
Makes you feel better?
It doesn't make me feel any better, but it expressed my sentiment. Because, of course, it's going to make you feel better because you like to see me act simple. And like Langston Hughes said, I am simple. As Langston Hughes has said, I am simple. You see simple now in its true personification. Tell Mr. Charlie, tell Mr. Hayes, tell the Patterson Syndicate that simple is here. And simple is here to stay. Black power! 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 What do we want? 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 Black power! Uncle Sam Woodsy! Hell no! Uncle Sam Woodsy! Hell no! Hell no!
What do you think about the war in Vietnam?
I don't like it. Really.
Tell me about it.
I don't like it because I spend my time over there already.
They're killing
And I don't
too
like
much
it
of
either.
people.
You've been there.
Colored killing nothing but just American people and just a few of the other people they kill. That's not right. It's not right.
You don't think they're killing black and white?
That's what I said. Black and white.
They kill both races.
And that's not right. You see on the television really killed so many Americans.
You think it's all the same? Everybody's dying.
Sure, everybody's died.
What do you think about the war then?
Huh?
Is the war doing any good?
The war ain't doing nothing. The war is no good. It's doing worse. Worse every day.
What are you doing
Every
about
day.
it? Why are you staying on the stoop? Why aren't you marching?
Well, because I have to go someplace today. I'll march. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
I'll join it.
But what they're doing is no damn good. That's right, and I mean that.
The government says they're stopping communism over there. What do you think about that?
Stop what?
They say they're stopping communism in Asia.
I don't see where they're stopping anything. Ain't a damn thing stopping. The damn war's still going. Russia is saying, because he's picking them up. I know. It ain't nothing. They ain't doing nothing but killing up the American black and white.
He's supposed to be a president of the United States. He's not supposed to be rewarded. No, I mean, do you think the black man's going to be rewarded if he shows bravery? No. When the black man gets back here, he's going to be just like he was before he left. Have you seen the papers where the black man have a white man over his shoulder and saving him and everything else? When that black man come back here, he can't take that same white man over his shoulder. How do you think things are going to change? Are they ever going to change? No? We're going to change it. Well, why weren't you marching today, then? Can you tell us that? I'm going. Believe me. You're going to join the march. I'm going to march. Because I might not live to see it, but my children will live to see it. I'm not going to let that. You and everybody else took everything away from us. And we're going to get it back. Believe me when we say we're going to get it back.
And you think this march will help you to get it back?
It's a piece. It's a step forward. You know, you got to do 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. You can't just bottom to the top.
What do you think about this question of patriotism? That you should be patriotic and send your kids to fight over in Vietnam?
No. Well, for what? For what? What we got to be patriotic for? What you gave us? You didn't give us nothing. Why should we keep them fight for you? You all got the best parks, the best house, the best of everything. When we get it, we have to stop and pay all of our salary for rents. To halfway get a decent place to live. I got a house that is full of so much rats it ain't even funny.
Man,
and I'm working every day. And I'm working for the state. For the United States government that don't even give me nothing. And I got to pay all that rent for rats to come eat the rat food. I put the rat food out there. And when I wake up in the morning, the rat food is gone. I don't know where the rats went. Maybe they live better than I do. But the rat food is gone.
You're going to be marching today, sir.
Oh, no. You tell that white man to clean that house.
You're going to march?
Tell that white man to fix them holes.
I had about 60 days left, 64, 65 days left to do on the Nam down south. And I was singing a song that I had made up from, another tune. And it was, soon I'll be going back to where the rats and the roaches roam. And this guy who was next to me said to me, what do you mean? You got rats in your house? So I turned to him, and he was a hunk. I turned to him and I said, yeah, I got rats and roaches in my house. Don't you have any in yours? And he said to me, no. He said he'd never seen a rat. And it started me thinking, because soon I would be going back home and he would be going back home. I would be going back to the rats and the roaches because I knew they were there. And if you come home right now, you can hear them. If you're eating in my kitchen, you'll hear them talking. And, and he would be going back to his nice California pad. And for me, the problem would begin again. And for him, there would be no problem.
What do you think of the demonstration? What do you think of the demonstration?
I'm going to tell you, I got a son, and I swear I don't want him to go over there.
You don't want him to Vietnam?
No, and I feel just like the rest of the mother feel. They don't want their child to go over in Vietnam, and I really don't want mine to go.
You think that's what it's all about?
Yeah.
That's the only reason?
That's the only reason. I'm a mother just like everybody. I know they feel the same way like I feel.
Why do you think that the black people are demonstrating against the war?
Because more black going over there than any other color.
They say that the death rate of the black GI is comparatively higher than the death rate of the white GI. And I would like to come right back to basic training, or even further back to high school, where you're in a ghetto and your mother is on welfare and your father left home, and then you have to go out and get a job. You quit high school for some reason or other, and you don't finish high school, or you do get high school education, and it's not on a level with the white high school, and you go to take the Army test, and you score lower than the white guys, and the next thing you know, you're in the infantry. And that's one reason. Another reason is that black guys seeing their buddies in infantry and airborne, these elite units, would naturally want to be right where the brothers are. So like a brother will come in there, he has 3 years of college, and right away, bam, he wants to get into that elite outfit because his other brothers are there, And that's why you see the 173rd Airborne in Vietnam, which we used to support when I was on helicopter missions. I can really safely say, to my counting, about 60% of that outfit is black. And another reason why he's dying so much is because of his he just want to show the man that he is a man, and that he can do anything that the white guy does, and you go all out to prove that.
Well, I wouldn't want my black boys to go over there fighting and they ain't get nothing when they come here. That's how I feel about it. When they come here, they don't get no jobs. They get turned down, they get killed, and get the legs cut off and don't get nothing. That's how I feel about it.
You're against the war in Vietnam?
That's why I against the war in Vietnam. I don't like it because it's no good. Our black boys going there getting killed, and they ain't doing nothing for us. And when we get here to get a job, we don't get none. And then another thing, you're getting housework. You got to have, you have to go to a whole lot of hell to get that. You don't even get that for nothing.
There used to be a time you could get a job like that, but you gotta show your whole history, where you was born, how you was born to get housework. That's right.
I left the service in 1966, and I had a skill as in aircraft maintenance. I walked both Kennedy Airport and LaGuardia Airport for 45 days trying to find a job out there. I wound up with a $60 a week job where I packed little light bulbs and things like that. My take-home pay was $49 a week.
What do you think about demonstration?
Demonstration? Well, if they go to Vietnam, they went on their own. The Bible says, see, we know that Allah is God, and we ain't gonna worry about it no more.
You're not gonna worry about what?
We ain't worrying about Vietnam. If you went over there, you went on your own. See, we give respect to the government 100%, while we know what the government is doing for the people out here. See, we are 5% of poor righteous teachers. See, we know everything. See, we respect the government at all costs, while we'll back him up. But we know he's doing his job, while we out here to do a job also. That's why we're here.
What do you think about the job they're doing, the government?
The government is doing everything right and exact. That's the way it's supposed to be. The government has always been right and exact. They doing their job and we doing ours. The 5% is going to do their job in the poor part of the planet Earth.
What's the difference between the job they're doing and the job you're going to be doing?
See, we're going to be building. We're going to build a black nation that's going to be all wise and righteous. And we'll obey. That's right. But see, we got our own rules and regulations, and we know that God is Allah, and he is black.
Why aren't you marching today?
Why? Because we march for what? We don't need to march. We know who God is, and Allah going to take care of it all. That's why his son's out here now. You see 3 of us standing here. We don't protest, you know. We respect us right here. We respect the government. We don't go through walking through the streets and protesting. If people want to do something, just go down there one at a time and tell the government what they want to do. The government is right in his act. They know what they're doing. Sure do. While I see Allah is the God, he told us to respect the government 100% and do anything the government asks. Well, see, we know we're going to do for the government. See, the government got to speak to us while we're the high intelligent people of this planet Earth. See, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's the last and greatest apostle of Almighty God Allah. Right. See, he already submitted 100%. He's the holy Muslim.
How about your friend?
That's my brother. That's the 5%. I'm a 5%. I ain't no friend.
Your friend it is?
I'm not no friend. That's my brother.
I see. How do you feel about the demonstration?
How I feel about it? Didn't you hear me speak? Ain't no difference. We all is one.
Would you serve?
I say all praises are due to God Allah. I go in the army and show improvement. Come back home in no limit of time. Same way I went in there.
Are you in draft age now?
No, sir.
Are either of you
Yes,
in
sir.
draft age? Have you been called?
No, sir. Well, I spoke to the government while the government told me to lay cool for a while.
You got a deferment?
Yes, sir.
Are you trying to get other black youth to not go into the army? Are you
No, I'm not stopping them. I'm not stopping them. I'm not stopping nobody. If you go to Vietnam, you go on your own. See, everyone is independent. Right. This year here is independent year. If they don't know they're independent, why they got to go out in the street and go by themselves? Ain't no one going to help them.
How do you feel about the demonstration, sir?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how do I feel about it?
Well, are you in favor of demonstrating against the war in Vietnam?
I'll tell you what I'm not in favor of. I'm not in favor of cleaning up another country when this is filthy. That's right. You dig that? What this cracker has to learn is clean home first. Don't worry about Vietnam. You can't guarantee freedom to the people millions of miles away when you got crap going on right here in the neighborhood, in the city. Right about that. America needs their own face cleaning first.
We were in this foxhole, and the CO's, he was one of the most scared people I've ever seen doing any kind of an operation. And we were being artilleried by the North Vietnamese artillery batteries in the DMZ, the mountain areas. And he was speaking to another lieutenant, and he was saying, the coons are getting out of hand. He looked over to the other corner of the bunker, and he saw me, and he quickly changed the statement from to colored people are getting out of hand. Now, right away, it doesn't make me feel like I want to help him or I want to serve his cause. And from before, I didn't have any kind of a feeling for it to start with.
I was on my way home north, and I stopped in a food shop in Atlanta, and I had on the whole green suit. I walked in and they wouldn't serve me. So right then, with me, the green suit and the flag didn't mean a goddamn thing. And 19 days passed, and I was in Vietnam, and for the first 4 months there, I fixed flat tires on Jeeps, lightweight trucks, and caught and killed rats. Then I complained and got in the maintenance school to learn how to fix UH-1s, which is a 3-week course, and I passed that, and from that time on, I fixed planes, you see. And then the middle of the tour, I walked into the outhouse and saw the usual racial slur written on the wall. So my whole mind changed, and I said, hell with it, I'll do my time and get the hell out.
First time I realized that the man was definitely after me personally, and us generally, black brothers, was when I was getting ready to go overseas, and I was going overseas with this helicopter outfit, combat assault helicopter outfit, as an air traffic control, modified to be a ground combat control. And I was trained for this in an Air Force school in Mississippi, and I was the only brother to graduate. So before I get into the story, I must say that the graduation party that the class had, I was the only one who couldn't attend because I was the only black guy in that class, and they had their graduation party on a beach in Mississippi, and I couldn't even go on that beach, and it struck me real hard, thinking that after all I graduated with the guys, and I could at least, be part of this celebration. Anyway, I finally went overseas, and I figured, well, this will give me some experience to go. When I come back, I want to do this thing in civilian life, air traffic control. But when I got over there, the guy made me a driver for the other officers in the company. And I said, look, I'm an air traffic controller, and I'm supposed to be doing my job, and that's what you sent me over here for. You spent $18,000 to send me to school. And he said, look, I told him, I said, look, because I'm black, or is it the reason that, am I too black for a job like that? Is it air traffic control, is it a job too good for a man like me to do? And immediately sent me to the jungles in Phu Phin, the 1st Infantry Division, 5th Artillery Group, and there I stayed until I got out.
The best of black youth are in the battlefields of Vietnam. See, the best of white youth are off in the colleges. They're not going to Vietnam. You know, what you get of the white guys over there are the lowest level of, the poor guy, the poor little racist guy from some honky town down in Mississippi, who will never amount to anything, all his life will just be based on hating black folk, because that's how he's trapped, that's how he's oriented, that's how he'll live. Unless it's something basic and fundamental that happens, that's how he'll die. But the best of the white youth are off here in the universities, and frankly, they're not going. And their parents are committed. They'll do everything, and they'll go to jail before they go. But the best of the black youth are over there fighting another colored people. And so that the racist enemy in this country does two things. Okay? He fights a racist war, an imperialist war of aggression against the Vietnamese people with black youth who are carrying the major share of that battle, certainly in terms of percentage of casualties and fatalities. And he also deprives black folk here of the cream of the crop of black youth to wage war against racist America.
Very unfair. Why should the people, American boys, white and black, go to Vietnam to fight when a quarter of the country, the American population can't even vote? Not only they can't vote, they can't even go to a toilet down south, a public toilet. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope they continue to keep it very peaceful. And well, I'm trying to tell them the way I feel about it, that you're right. Just keep it straight. You're right. Just keep it peaceful. Keep it peaceful. You're right.
Sorry, I'll get out of here.
Hell no! We won't go! Hell no! Hell no!
Excuse me, sir, what do you think about this talk?
Very impressive.
Are you for or against the war?
I have to be against the war.
You are against the war. What do you think these marches can do?
I think they can arouse interest and dramatize an issue. Very, very, very important.
What do you think about the black people marching?
I think they have a greater stake in it than the white people.
Do you think that this is an anti-white movement, or is it an anti-peace, pro-peace movement?
I think it's a pro-peace movement.
Do you feel any anti-white sentiment here?
No, not at all. I think if there is any, it'll be dissolved in the common cause that they're all fighting.
Thank you.
What do you think of the demonstration?
What'd you say?
What do you think of the demonstration?
I think it's lousy. They're nothing but communists, every one of them. They don't deserve to live in this damn country.
What do you think about the war?
What do I think about the war? I think it's right. We're fighting for our damn freedom. That's what we're doing. We're fighting for our freedom. And these damn idiots don't realize that. Hell no! We won't go! Hell no! We won't go! Come on, come on, come on, come on.
What do you think of the demonstration?
Huh?
What do you think of the demonstration?
It's all right.
Huh? Don't make no difference as long as they get peace. It don't make any difference. Everybody wants the war to end, It's all right.
What do you think about all that? What do you think about the demonstration?
You got something to do.
Think it's something to do?
Something for them to do anyway. They're marching.
How do you feel about the war?
How you feel about it? Huh? How do you feel about the war?
All these people know how I feel about the war. How do you feel about it?
Who knows?
Vietnam in 64, I received mail from home when I heard that 3 civil rights workers got killed and they had riots in Brooklyn, and I said, what in the hell am I doing out here? And my whole mind changed and said, damn, I have got to learn these skills here and help my own folks at home use these same skills to be free. Because as I've seen it, just being in a civil rights march won't work at all, because there's racist cops, dogs, electric sticks that they shock you with, hoses, and I cannot see myself being in a nice, peaceful civil rights march, singing songs and getting my head whipped in. I can't.
Well, I have one pretty sharp experience, and it's about this elderly Vietnamese woman. I was in charge of giving out the C-rats one day, and this elderly Vietnamese woman came along with a crowd of children, and she kept begging me for one of the C-rats. And I told her, no. And I was laughing with her and the children. And this woman kept begging me for 1 whole hour. She kept begging me. And finally I looked at her and I saw in this woman's face, real sincere begging. And then I thought to myself, this woman could be my mother, or she could be my grandmother. And that child that she's holding in her hand could have been a relative of mine. And here she is begging for food. And I got so much on her side, I started coming out of a pity bag. And I just reached down in the box and gave her 2 whole boxes of C-rations. And they were, the other guy's food. And they were pretty riled up because I had taken their food and given to her. But I couldn't help it really, because it was her land we'd come to and we'd destroyed, and she needed food for the child. But the best part of it was she went away, and about 2 hours later, when we were getting ready to leave, she brought back a bag of roasted peanuts for me, and she gave it to me, and she wanted me to eat it, bag of peanuts, and I gave it to her. And it just showed that, really, if you want to help people, then the best thing to do is to give them food, clothes, instead of going over and trying to tell them what to do. And this really played a heavy part on me, because it brought the Vietnamese people, through this lady, closer to me, or closer to understanding them and their problems.
The black GIs over there, we had, with the majority of the Vietnamese girls, we had a much more rapport with them than the white guys, because they would always say, me and you same, me and you same GI, come here, things like that. And well, they got a dislike for the white guys, because the white guys went around saying that we were shoe-shine boys back in the States, and that we had tails. We used to have tails. We were descendants of the monkeys in Africa, and things like that. Whenever you're having sex with them, why don't you take look, you they have big buttocks, and that's because of their origins in Africa, and well, the Vietnamese then saw what was happening back in the States was happening right there in their own country. It was racism right there in front of their eyes, and they'll call us soul brothers. Hey, soul brother. Hey, the soul sister. Things like that. And and what a lot of colored guys wouldn't call the Vietnamese a gook or a slope. The white guys will mainly do that because it's a racial epithet. Like they'll call us nigger here, coon, everything. We'll call the Vietnamese over there gook, slope, anything. But for me, I never did call them that. Because I think I've been doing them the same injustice that the white man over here was doing to me. I just call them plain Vietnamese or by their name.
There was a survey made in the Marine Corps, and they wanted to know what the Marines felt about the Vietnamese people, how they felt about them. And it surprised many of the officers that most of the men came back saying that they thought the Vietnamese weren't human. And because they don't think the Vietnamese are human, then they treat them less than human. They think they're pigs, dogs, everything else.
Tell me about, you were talking about how you, tell me about how you felt when you went over there. What used to be your feelings about patriotism, your association with this country, how you felt about being American, and all that happened, if that changed?
Well, I was blinded by a life of being in white schools, hearing white lies, and I thought that since I'm being sent there, okay, I'll spend my time in there and get out. But I used to like whites until I was stationed down south, and I learned more of this hate in both down south and in Vietnam too. And because of that, I am very suspicious of 99 and 9900% of all whites in the States. And to me, my uniform and my flag don't mean a damn thing now.
If it wasn't for this flag, you wouldn't have the right to assemble here today. Beautiful. Support the boys in Vietnam. They burned the flag before we came, but they didn't do it while I was here. And nobody's gonna burn this unless they burn me with it. They got the nerve to walk around here with peace flowers on them. At the end of this parade, they should gather them all together and put it on the grave of a soldier in Vietnam that got killed today. This is a disgrace. This is a disgrace to all of you. You should back this flag. Wait a minute. My parents come from Italy, and I would fight against my country for this country.
Now I'm back. Looking back on this patriotism thing, what is patriotism? Is it my country right or wrong?
Whether my country's right or wrong, I'll stick with it. All right?
Is it right or is it wrong?
Is it right or wrong? Take a look at them. Do they look like they'd be able to get into service?
Yeah, they're all right. They're right.
What do you think about the war?
Well, I don't care. I don't know anything about it. But I know if my country's there, I'm behind my country.
You're an ex-serviceman?
Yeah.
Do you have any relatives who are...
You see these?
I do.
See them all? I got them playing games over there.
I was a sniper in the 3rd Marine Division. And it really hurt me a lot of times to see 13, 14-year-old kids that we'd kill. But then again, I'm there coming down to kill us. And the thing is, we didn't start the bombing until they started bringing supplies down from North Vietnam to resupply their men. And we've got to stay there now until it's over.
This kind of thing has a bad effect on the morale?
It does, definitely. I think Martin Luther King is hurting morale a lot by saying that the colored people are fighting a disproportionate war over there. Because I know a lot of the colored boys that I work with, they were proud to be there.
What do you think about the black people marching?
I think Martin Luther King made a mistake to tie up civil rights with the Vietnam War.
What do you think of Martin Luther King marching, sir?
Luther King is a communist. It's nothing else. He's the biggest. Luther King is the biggest enemy for the colored people. He is a communist, educated communist. He used the colored people for the propaganda for Moscow, nothing else.
What do you think about the relating of the civil rights movement and the peace movement?
Well, I'd like to see everybody get along. I'm for everybody.
It says America for Whites, NRP stands for National Renaissance Party.
Do you believe in that?
Well, yes, but I also believe that Africa should be for the blacks. I believe that we should have a white empire. I believe that the blacks should be part of a black empire, and that the Asiatics should be part of a yellow empire. I think it's against the laws of nature I don't think nature meant that the races should have been mixed. I don't think he did. Because if he did, then nature, I think that we all would have been born one race.
Why do you think there's so many Negroes taking part in this demonstration?
Well, there are a lot of Negroes in this country who they don't have good jobs. They're in a bad economic situation. They live in ghettos, and they see the war in Vietnam as the war of the ghetto war, where you take a lot of people out of the ghettos and you send them over there to Vietnam, which I do agree with them on that. That a lot of poor kids are being sent over to Vietnam because there aren't any jobs over here for them. I agree with them on that. But I think it would be better for them to. So, I am opposed to the war in Vietnam, but I am not opposed to the American GIs over there. I would support them 100%. But I want the war to be won. My book says bomb Hanoi. If I had a plane and if I had a bomb, not a nuclear bomb, but a big enough bomb, I would bomb Hanoi. I don't want to go over to Vietnam and shoot at a tree where there's some guy behind the tree who I can't see, and I don't know what he's shooting at me with. It's ridiculous.
Now you say these people have a right to march. What does that sign over here?
I said that they had a right to march,
What does that say?
but they don't have a right to wear a Viet Cong uniform. It says, kill red peace creeps. And, well, we want publicity, and we're getting nothing. And we really actually would kill any red peace creeps. Of course, the idea, it isn't such a bad idea, but we really wouldn't kill them. I think we'd let them live. Because to me, communism is just a disease of the mind. It can't be cured. There are a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists in this country who can cure communism. Of course, they look at other things like it's a disease. Like they'll say that fascism is a disease, which I don't think it is. I think communism is a disease, and we don't have to kill them. We can cure them. But people who were born racial inferiors, well, unfortunately, they should have their own sphere of influence. The sphere of influence for the African is Africa. The sphere of influence for the Asian is Asia. Let them stay over there.
Well, I'm pretty disgusted. And I won't hide that. I'm pretty angry. Angry about the whole mess. Not only black veterans, but angry about the way black people have been treated on a whole. And everyone knows what's going on. And still yet there's some people who insist that nothing is going bad and that things are going for the better. And we know that nothing's going for the better. I have been made even more angry by going to Vietnam and having to contribute and seeing black youth die in Vietnam and still yet coming back, and no one wants to listen to us, no one wants to hear what we have to say, and no one wants to do anything for us. We're still being treated as subhumans. I've come back from Vietnam and I've seen the things in my neighborhood. I walk through the alleys and the alleys are piling high with garbage. I see young black children running through the streets. They don't have the proper clothes on, and it's not the same old lie that their parents don't want to work. That is not the case. The case is they can't find jobs. Now, the people complain about welfare. They complain about what is being paid to these people now. Well, we didn't think up the welfare scheme. We didn't think up the welfare agency idea. The man thought up the idea. He is the one that put it into practice. And he put it into practice to hide us. He paid enormous sums of money for 2 rooms that the welfare agencies would pay something like $150. And these weren't 2 good rooms. I can take you and show them to you right now. They were rat-infested rooms, the plaster holes in the wall broken, the ceilings corroding. And they paid this money to the people to keep them off the streets, to hide them. And then they built subways, and they built the subways under us so they would never have to see us. But they did something wrong when they built those skyscrapers, because then we could see the skyscrapers and we saw what they were putting out. And then we started crawling out of our neighborhoods and taking looks at what the man had. And because we saw what the man had, then we became more angry. And it's now because these people are demanding that they get what's theirs. Now the man says, do away with welfare. He says these people are lazy. They're always collecting welfare. Well, man, it was your idea. It wasn't our idea, so crawl off our backs. These people didn't want to hide to start with. They asked you for jobs in the beginning. You didn't want to give them the jobs. You didn't want to give them the better education. You didn't want to give them the better housing. Instead, you chose to give them charity. And now you're complaining because you have to pay out more charity than you want to pay out. I mean, don't complain to us. If you wanted to do free giving in the beginning, continue to give free giving. Just because you started out giving a man $1 and he's asking you for $2 now, don't start crying on our shoulders. It's not our problem.
Well, I think it's a really pathetic situation. I think this summer and other succeeding summers going to really see a change in the black man's attitude to what the white man's putting out to him. It's all I can say is it's going to be a pathetic thing. If you really read the riot report and see what it has in those pages, you may not sleep nights just thinking what's going to happen. And unless the man does something to alleviate these conditions, these worsening conditions, not here in New York, in Chicago, in the South, in Mississippi, all over the place, it's going to, right here, the war is going to escalate right here. As he escalates the war in Vietnam, it's going to escalate right here.
The price of an F-4 Phantom jet is $2.5 million each. With that, Uncle Sam can build 2 beautiful schools here for that same amount, but instead it's being used to buy a high-performance multi-engine jet that is being shot down and will wind up being a useless scrap, a useless heap of scrap.
You know, I think one of the worst mistakes that the man has ever made is to think that we would be fool enough to be trained in warfare and still yet come back home, watch our people live in misery, die in misery, and still be stupid enough not to want to help our people. Now, if the people on the street, the people in the so-called riots, I call them revolts, if the people in the revolts are to be shot down and killed, then I don't think there's any brother who's going to stand around knowing what he can do and knowing what he's capable of putting out. He's going to stand around and watch his own people get shot down. If a man on the street dies, I die. If this country ever decides to exterminate black people, I'm sure they're not going to exclude me because I've been in Vietnam. They're going to exterminate all black people, and that includes all Vietnam veterans.
4 little girls died in a Sunday school. The man who laid the charge was a white National Guardsman. Yet the white people in this damn United States have the nerve to get shooken up when I say I will use my skills to fight for a revolt against 400 years of racism. That's a bunch of bull, because I will be out in the damn streets, and I won't be wearing a fatigue uniform and boots of some damn armed force.
I got a solution to this whole problem. I think it's the United States government should just get out. You know, there's a big mistake. Let the people govern themselves. You know, having elections and everything. Okay, the NLF take over. Okay, that's all right. It's their country. It was their country in the first place. And come back here and reorganize, revitalize all the programs that you have started. Revitalize everything. You know, just a regeneration of everything. The slums, the inadequate house and everything. Just get together and plan. You know, just okay. This is a great society. That's what Johnson says. Okay, well, really make it a great society. Building better schools, better housing. Train the black people in the skills that the black people are supposed to be trained in, and just start a new society, and then this is really democracy, you know.
But they're not going to do it. If the United States government were ever to pull out of Vietnam, and you ask them what happened to the $80 billion they spent in Vietnam, why can't they put it in our black communities, they're gonna say they don't have the money. Well, where did all the money disappear to?
What are you fighting for? Why don't you just let people live? Just let us work, just let us make a living, each in their own category, each working the best of their ability. I don't want to live on Park Avenue. I can't afford it. But if my black brother can afford it, let him live. My son can't go to Harvard. I can't afford it. But if his black brother can't, let him go. I mean, I don't know what we are fighting about.
I'll tell you one reason why they're fighting. One reason why they're fighting. It's not the idea of he has more than the other fella. What they're fighting for is, how you say, kind of equal rights.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Let us fight for equal rights in America. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling you, so they can live like they want.
Hold a minute. I've got a little money, and the white fella got a little money, too.
Yeah, you got a little money.
But if I want to move into that apartment, the white guy want to move in the apartment, who gets the first preference?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, show me. If I had first choice from the beginning, why couldn't I get in there first?
Because you're black.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But wait, that's not the end of that. You talk about Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Now, your president of the United States and mine too, because I am a Democrat.
Look, I got two.
Wait a minute.
Over there now. Now, what are you talking about? What do you got over there?
They should be over there? Do you think those boys should be over there, man?
I don't know. Not if they're not going to come back here and get me results like that. If they're still getting the same results that they're getting now, no.
What do you think of the fact that more black men are dying over there than white men? How does that make you feel?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know whether the black man is dying more so than the white man. But I do know this much. I know that my boy is over there. He's supposed to be fighting for his rights here in the United States, but he's not getting them. He is not getting them. I want it for him. I want it for him. And if I don't think he's not getting them, you believe me, I'll do every hook, anything.
You gonna march today?
I don't know. I'll have to see about that. Because I am an arthritic, and I don't know whether I can...
The black man been going over in foreign countries fighting for wars ever since I can remember. And even before your time of mine, the black man has been sent all over the world fighting for his rights. And today, there's Wallace and his wife down there forming some kind of thing to keep the black child out of school in America. Let us clean up here. My darling, if we would live what we preach in the world, we wouldn't have to fight.
I agree with you.
You understand?
I agree with you.
We are fighting for nothing because the white man say you fight. The white man holds your life in the palm of his hand.
I agree.
You're afraid to open your mouth because he can take your bread out your mouth. He can put you out of your apartment. He can take your job. So you walk along and you come out and say, what do you think about so-and-so and so? Oh, I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't gonna say myself. I don't make no difference to me. What can you do? But you pay your taxes. When I get my little envelope, the dad got my money. He don't ask me for it. He takes it. I'm a citizen then. But if I open my mouth about anything else, I'm a communist. I'm a rabberizer. I'm stirring up things. But the same thing that I'm speaking for myself, the white man does it and is doing it all of his life.
What do you think of the black man defending himself with guns over in Vietnam and yet not
why do you keep on saying
You're not supposed to do it, but the white man's telling him to do it. He is sent there.
He's supposed to defend himself. When they push him like that, what the hell are you... If somebody keep on come up to you with a damn gun, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Sit back?
They teach him to fight and kill over there.
You're going to sit
and
back?
they come here and kill the same way because they're taught to kill. They're taught to kill over there.
You tell me, you keep on talking about what the black man keep on... Well, he's supposed to defend his damn self. Listen, you said to me, a black man is sent over to Vietnam with a gun. What should he do? Isn't a white man sent over there too? Right. Well, what the hell would he do?
I asked you if he should defend himself at home here too with a gun. That's what I asked you.
You bet your damn life if they keep on bucking him. If they keep on bucking him, yes. Shoot the hell out of him.
Most people say, if you don't like it here, get out. That's for spineless people. spineless bastards who don't want to fight for what they believe in. Well, I'm staying here because I was born here, and I am going to fight for my freedom. And before I have kids, I am going to make sure that this damn United States deserves the existence of my kids, because I will not rest until every Sunday school is safe for my kids, so that they won't get killed or beaten up like those kids down in Mississippi in 1966. That is going to stop, or else I'll be dead. Either one. You white folks have either one of two choices. Give me my damn freedom or kill me. Because I am tired of sitting by being an Uncle Tom or a house Negro like Booth and Wilkins. Those two guys are not Negroes. They're white people with man tan, that's all. They don't speak for us. They have found their way into the white man's house, the white man's establishment, and they are not about to make waves. But I am, because I am not going to take seeing my kids walking to a newly integrated school and getting their heads whipped in by grown men. Because if that happens to my kids, there are going to be a lot of damn dead white folks, and I mean a lot, because I am not going to take this junk no more. The days of step and fetch it are dead. The days of the black-faced, big, wide-eyed, gin-drinking black man are dead. Now we have what is called black consciousness.
Hell no! We won't go! 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 Hell no! We won't go!
Hey, fella, after the dance, and appreciate you for the parade that's going on.
Oh, will I be on television? Huh?
We want to have an opinion, sure.
My opinion?
Sure. What do you think about the parade?
Oh, I think the parade is wonderful. They should bring all the boys back home because it's a very unconstitutional thing.
Yeah. You ain't going, baby.
What time will I be on?
What do you mean it's unconstitutional? We don't know. What do you mean it's unconstitutional?
It isn't fair for our youngsters to be in Vietnam fighting somebody else's war. You got Negroes fighting people they don't even know.
Right, plus, and another thing, we are in a minority here, but over in Vietnam, we're the majority, and I don't think this is right. That's why I think this demonstration, I think it's some good gonna come out of it. I think a lot of good gonna come out of it, but so. Because it isn't fair. It really isn't fair. We are...
I think it's nice.
Well, yes, sir.
You think it's a racist war? You think the same things that are against the black people here are against the yellow people there?
Sure I do.
This is a war of aggression.
I mean, this is not our war. This is not our fight. We don't have no right being over there anyway.
The Americans or the black people?
The Americans, the black people, them all. This is not our fight. I think those people should settle their differences themselves.
What do you think about the merger of the civil rights struggle with the peace movement? In favor that the leaders should be the same? Everybody should work for both causes, or what?
Sure, I think so. Right. I mean, it's all...
man, what's going to happen? This next presidential election, Johnson's going to stop this war
and use it to bring the boys back home for votes and so forth.
Yeah, political.
You don't understand? It's a political war, man. The Vietnamese people are being slaughtered. De Gaulle told America to get out of there and leave those people alone. They had the French legions fighting, and they didn't beat them, and they are not going to beat them.
I think it'll be the same.
So what do you think about our boys?
We'll lose 8 to 1.
It's slaughtered too, you
Every
know.
time 2 white boys get killed, 8 colored boys get killed.
What do you think we can do? What do you think we can do?
Well, if there's enough pressure, public pressure used,
What you doing?
Johnson can be shamed enough to bring these kids back home.
He's wrong for being over there, first of all. He had no right being over there, and then he's asking for unconditional surrender.
You gotta clean up your own backyard, man, before you can clean up somebody else's backyard. The war should be in Mississippi and Alabama and Georgia. And
Need to clean up their own backyards, right?
In Harlem, the rat-infested areas around here. Whiskey stores, a church, and a pool room. That's all we got around here in Harlem. This is where the war should be fought, right here.
Why do you think we're not fighting in Alabama and Mississippi?
You can't win down there because the United States government don't support you, the Attorney General. They still let them gangsters use that Hitlerism down there.
Not aggressive enough down there.
It's communist Mississippi and Georgia. That's what it is.
You know, this revolution is filled with so many ironies, really. First you tell us that it is manly to keep your word. All right? If you are a man, you keep your word. And now all that the black people in this country are demanding, and even the black people in the whole world are demanding, is that you keep your word. You told us we were free. Well then, show us that we're free. You told us that there is justice, equality for all in this country. Well then, stick to your word. And let us see the justice and equality for all. Or else admit to us that you're not a man. You're a worm. You're afraid of us. You're afraid to give us equal stand. You're afraid that if you give us equal ground, that we will match you and we will override you. And if that's what you're afraid of us, then tell us that just what you're afraid of. But don't keep hiding it from us and holding this up to us, and every time we ask you for something, you give us a little bit of something, and it's all tokenism. We don't want tokenism. And there are most black men in this world that don't want charity. And yet still every time we ask you for something, you give us a little piece, a little piece. You're playing games with us. We're not children. We're big men. I've seen my father have to put up with all kinds of stuff. He was a big man. He raised a family. He went down south, and he had to go around to the back door with his wife. We're not asking for anything. We're not asking for any favors. All we want is what's ours. Now, there are many black veterans who are coming back, and they're mad. They're angry. Do you think that they're going to sit down through this? Our fathers didn't have the knowledge that we had. They sat through it. But there are other black youth that are not going to sit through it. We know about Che. We know about Fanon. We've read the books of our revolution. We've listened to Mao and his quotations. We know where we stand. We're not going to sit for it. We're asking, and if we ask and we don't get, we're prepared to stand up and take it. If I ask a man, I tell a man I am hungry. I tell him I am cold. And I ask him to do something about my condition. And this man holds a loaf of bread right in front of me so I can see it, and I keep asking him, I'm begging him to please give me a slice of the loaf of bread. I am hungry. Then it is known by every psychologist that the next step in the progression is I am going to knock him upside the head and take the bread from him. I'm not going to starve to death. All we're asking, no one wants to see blood. No one likes the smell of blood. No one wants war. Anyone who's been in war doesn't want war. Everyone knows what it is to see the inside of a man's gut hanging out and see your friends die, see relatives die. No one wants to regress back to the state of mind where you have to think it's all for the cause, therefore my mother has to die, my wife has to die, my brothers and sisters have to die. No one wants that. But you're pushing us to it. You're leaving us no choice. We're asking, we're begging. The students up at Columbia, they ask. The brothers down south ask. The brothers in Latin America, the brothers in Africa, they're all asking. All they're doing is asking. Our fathers asked. Our grandfathers asked. The presidents of our universities, our colleges had to go to your back doors to beg that their children be given just enough money so that they could be taught something to live off. And yet still, they asked and asked and asked, and you refused to give them anything. Now, we're just about out of patience. We're not going to ask anymore. The news media says that it's only the young that are militant, only the young that want this and want that. Okay, but we're 40% of the black population now. Or we were a year ago, and still yet we're climbing. Before long, we'll be 50%, 55%, and then we'll have the command. We're not going to take it. We're not going to take sitting in rotten parks and in places that just aren't fit for living. We're not going to take it. There's a limit to a man's patience, and everyone knows that God, Christ, heaven, everyone knows that what we're asking is not $1 million. What we're asking for is humanity. We're asking to be allowed to live like human beings. And God, you tell us that this is too much to ask. You're sick. You're definitely sick. How can you tell me that it's too much to ask to be a human being?